contents of this docket,
My Lord-
3751 of 2019?
Yes, yeah, 37541. Yeah, I think it will be after September, October, around that period, because I know that was the time the DPP and myself were given instruction to get this docket for the defense. So it was around that period, September, October 2022, my lord.
Ngicela ukuthi ngeke September noma October ngoba ngalesi sikhathi DPP acela khona ukuthi senze ama copy ale document senzela abamili.
You mentioned that you first saw the docket at the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions on 29 January 2020. Can you just briefly deal with the circumstances under which you saw that docket?
Manje ngaphansi kwasiphi isimo ukuze ngomhla ka 29 January 2020 nikwazi ukubona le document.
Yes, so the circumstances were as follows, my lord. Subsequent to the differences that arose between us, let's say the investigators that were nominated, and I'm including Warrant Officer Makube and Butelezi.
Emva kokuthi ke kube nokwehlukana ngembono phakathi kwethu no Warrant Officer Makubo.
The National Commissioner then appointed a Brigadier Perumal, to actually come and lead. And one, it was for the purpose of him making analysis on what is contained in the docket, and secondly, to lead the team now between the ACPS and the NPA, because it was not how do I put it, my lord? It was not a suitable environment between the parties that were involved. And it was overflowing to the NPA in terms of who now must brief the NPA with these different views that were now taken to them on this matter.
Kuthemba kwaloko ke ukwathi emva kokuthi kuqale ukuphenywa lolu daba lolu kwagcina ke sekubekwa uNational Commissioner waqoka uBrigadier Perumal ukuthi ahlazele I docket yaleli cala nokuthi ahole uphenyo ngoba kwakunengqaki ukuthi ke phakathi kweNPA neSAPS ubani ohola uphenyo lwalolu daba ngoba kufanele kube nathi thina sifanele sikwazi ukutshela iNPA siba briefe ngokuthi kwenzekani kuleli cala.
Now, Brigadier Perumal, my lord, was at that stage leading, I think, the commercial unit in the Eastern Cape. He was from the Eastern Cape.
Manje uBrigadier Perumal ngaleso sikhathi waye ngaphansi kwe-commercial unit e-Eastern Cape.
And he was assisted by then Colonel Lords, who was from the DPCI anti-corruption unit. He's now a brigadier in the Western Cape also,
Manje
for the anti-corruption unit.
ngaleso sikhathi kwayehola uColonel Lords
Colonel Lords is now a brigadier. Lords.
uColonel Lords ke manje sekuthiwa useyibrigadier.
Now, my lord, when they came on board, I was asked by them to avail the docket at the time, which I did, so that they could make copies, analyze the docket, because they needed to brief the NACOM.
Manje kuthiwa ngaleso sikhathi ke ngacelwa ukuthi ngenza amakhophi ke edocket ukuze bakwazi ukubrief iNACOM.
I also do know, my lord, that they tried to find the other docket, because when they came on board, it was after this 375 docket was already opened.
Manje ngiyazi ukuba zama ukuthola idocument ngoba ngaleso sikhathi ngiyazi ukuthi idocket ka 375 lesevuliwe.
But they did not succeed.
Kodwa abazange bakwazi ukwenza lokho.
So just a minute. If you say they, who are you referring to?
I'm referring to Brigadier Perumal and Brigadier Lords.
Ngisho uBrigadier Perumal noBrigadier Lords.
But why were they unsuccessful in their efforts to obtain a copy of this docket 3751 of 2019?
Yini indaba bahlula ukuthi bathole le docket ye 275?
I was informed, my lord, that they received resistance when Brigadier Perumal tried to phone the two members with an intention of getting this docket. From what he told me, there was resistance, mere resistance, and as a result, they did not succeed.
So ngaleso sikhathi ke bathola ukuthi bahlangabezana nenkinga uma bezama ukukhuluma nalamalunga amabili bethi bezama ukuthola le document.
So we can just perhaps leave out of account what he told you, but the fact of the matter is they were not successful in getting a copy of CAS 3751 of 2019.
That is correct. They were not successful, my lord.
Athi yaba bazange bakwazi ukuphumelela ekuthubeleni le document.
Yes.
Now, they then, after analyzing the docket, my lord, they I know that there was a meeting with the National Commissioner where they briefed him, obviously, of the challenge that I've mentioned and what they saw on this docket in terms of the view. It must also be mentioned, my lord, or noted that at that stage, we were not in sight of any of these accused. So it was just merely, what is the docket telling us? Is it telling us that they were intruders, or is it telling us that there were no intruders? So as to who were the perpetrators, at that stage, we were not there. There was no clue and none whatsoever at that stage.
Njengoba ngaleso sikhathi ke bathi mabehlazele le document beyibheka bahamba bahlangana ne-National Committee commissioner ukuthi bazomchazela ukuthi baboneni kule document le ngoba ngaleso sikhathi ke kwangakabi nabasolwa kodwa ke kwakuna le document phela bafanele bachaze ukuthi yini abayibona ngaphakathi ukuthi babe khona yini abahlaseli noma babengekho ngoba abantu ke kuthiwa ke babe ngathoswa leli cala babengabibiko.
The report that was given, my lord, was that they were of the view that there were perpetrators who came into the house, as much as they do not know who, but the evidence suggested that there were perpetrators who came into the house.
Yes.
I'm not sure if such report has been handed over to the police.
Yes.
I'm not sure if such report has been handed over to the police.
They share their view with you. What happened further?
Bathe ngaleso sikhathi ke nanoma babecabanga ukuthi babekhona abahlaseli babekhona lapho nanoma ke babengakabibikho abasolwa.
I was then, my lord, asked by them that I should introduce them now to the prosecutor from the NPA that is dealing with that matter in that stage, because it was already assigned to the North Gauteng DPP.
Ngasengicela ke ukuthi ngaleso sikhathi ngibahlanganise ke nomshushisi owayeshushisa lelo cala ngaleso sikhathi.
That, my lord, led me to me making arrangements with the DPP, and subsequently then that meeting of the 29th of January 2020 then took place, where Brigadier Perumal was there for the first time to meet the DPP and obviously indicate that he will be leading, from the ACPS side on the directive of the NPA, and obviously the directive or the direction that the investigation will be taking.
With due respect, we're going to request the Brigadier to raise up his voice once again, because he starts well, but towards the end of his explanation, it's becoming faint. We are unable to follow everything that is saying.
My lord, I'm speaking as much as I can, so I will consider that, because
Somebody can switch off this icon.
Apparently, that's centrally
Oh, it's
controlled.
central, by the way.
It cannot be switched on.
I will do my best, my lord, but I'm doing the best I can.
Yes, you can continue. Perhaps
So,
if you can just move the docket to the side and get closer to the microphone.
it's this one I'm using.
Yes,
This one. Yes. So then on the 29th of January, my lord, 2020, we then met the team that was assembled, or rather that was assigned from the NPA to deal with this matter.
Ngomhla 29 kuJanuary 2020 ilesa nakhona nethimba elaliqokwe ukuthi lubheke lolu daba.
The names that I recall, it was Advocate Leonard.
Oyabanye ke ngibakhumbulayo Advocate Leonard,
I think there was also Advocate Makwata
ngikhumbula mhlambe futhi no Advocate Makwata
and Advocate Baloyi, that is before court.
no Advocate Baloyi olapha phambi kwenkantolo.
Yes.
My lord, so the Brigadier obviously introduced himself, and the two members, I'm just not sure whether they arrived first or they found us there, but Warrant Officer Makubo and Buthelezi also arrived.
Warrant Officer Makubu and who else?
Buthelezi.
No Buthelezi nabo bafika ngisakhumbula ukuthi laba abanye bazethulana noma bazethulana.
And that is a day, my lord, where I said they were in possession now of this 375 docket, which obviously I saw from the distance when they were addressing the DPP about
Yila ngithi khona ngabona ke le docket 375 engithi mina ngayibona kodwa ikude.
Yes.
And it was also the first time that Brigadier Perumal, my lord, came face to face with them, obviously after facing the challenge of getting the copies of the docket.
Ilapho ke Brigadier Perumal wabonana nabo emva kokuthi athole le docket.
Yes.
The meeting, my lord, didn't really end well because the Brigadier was taking exception about the protocol that was not being followed, discipline. So it didn't end well, which ended with the two members leaving with that docket from the DPP, leaving us behind with the state advocates.
Lapho ke umhlangano zange uphele kahle ngoba uBrigadier Perumal wayekhononda ukuthi ke inqubo enhle ayizange ilandelwe nokuthi ke abazange basebenze ngendlela enhle. Lapho ke laba ababili basuka behamba naleyo docket.
Yes.
Obviously, the investigations and the instructions, my lord, we didn't discuss when we left, with the DPP to say what is their view, what must be followed, those nitty-gritty were discussed. Obviously, after these issues were dealt with, these differences and the arguments, my lord.
Sebehambile ke kwakhulunywa kuthi uphenyo lufanele lwenzeke kanjani ke nokuthi ke kufanele kulandulwe yiphi indlela yokubuka umbono omuphi nokuthi kufanele kwenzeke kanjani ke emva kokuthi ke kukhulunyeke nanokuthi ke kwakuhlukanwa kanjani ngembono ngaphambili.
Yes.
Yes, I think my recollection, my lord, that's what happened on the 29th, the DPP's office.
Yeah, engikhumbulayo ke ukuthi lokho kwenza ngamhla 29 ehhovisi lika DPP.
And you mentioned that you never saw the docket until in September of 2022.
That is correct, my lord.
Athi yebo ngangizange phinde ngibone le docket befika mhla September 2022.
And is it correct that at that stage the previous proceedings were underway?
That is correct, my lord.
Futhi ke leli kwakuqula ke kwakusaqhubeka ngaleso sikhathi.
Brigadier, if we can then come back to what you mentioned earlier on, that upon your assessment of the docket, there were certain facts that informed you that there were intruders.
Absolutely, my lord. There were those factors, but as I was looking into those factors, I must also mention that I was looking at them in relation to ngoThulela, because in the midst of those allegations, Longo's name was coming up as a possible suspect who may have shot.
Khona uningi ngangibhekile ngaphakathi kwale docket lo engangibhekile ukuthi ke kwakhulunywa kakhulu ngoLongoThulela ukuthi uyena wayedubulile uyena wayedutshula
Who may have shot the deceased.
ukuthi uyena oyengaba edubule umufi.
Yes.
So one of the things that I looked at, my lord, obviously when I looked at the docket, was to establish that according to the preliminary statement which the defense has, there was a report that one of the cell phone belongings to Ms. Kelly Kumalo was robbed. That was one of the allegations that was said there.
Please come again. I didn't hear you.
So in the preliminary reporting, in other words, your A1 statements, it was alleged, my lord, that during this robbery that led now to the killing of the deceased, a cell phone belonging to Ms. Kelly Kumalo was taken by the intruders.
Ke qaleni ke kwaphenya kwabonakala ukuthi ngesikhathi ke kuhlaselwa lapha iselfoni kaKelly Kumalo nayo yanto.
I was able to establish a specific number that was taken, my lord, because she had two cell phones that were disclosed according to the docket.
Mina ngakwazi ukuthola ukuthi yipi number ngoba inumber zombili zaziveziwe kusho ukuthi inumber zikaKelly Kumalo.
Yes, so there was a 082 number, I think it's 703, I forgot the last four numbers, that was not taken. Then the 072 is the one that was alleged to have been taken by the perpetrators.
Kulezi number embili ke u082 no072 eyayithathiwe ke u082.
No, 072.
U072.
Now, my lord, I looked at the cell phone records that were already available, that were requested by the first investigation team, because after they took over the matter, they applied for Section 205, and those records of all the numbers of the people who were in the house were available on the docket.
Ke ngabheka ke umbiko ukhuluma ngalamafoni ngoba wonke amafoni alaba bebekhona ngaphakathi kwakucelwe imbiko ngaphansi ka Section 205.
What one could establish, what I could establish, my lord, is that before the incident took place, you can place all the cell phones, including this particular one that was alleged to be taken, on that one tower. In other words, the people who were in the house, inclusive of the alleged stolen phone, was under one tower, so they were at the crime scene.
Kuthiwa ke wonke ke lamafoni ke kuyabonakala ukuthi ayebonwa itower eyodwa kusho ukuthi wonke lamafoni ayesendaweni yobugebengu.
Now, after the shooting, the shooting incidents, the people who were in the house, my lord, moved to the hospital, and they were picked up by the tower at the hospital.
Manje emva kokudutshulwa bonke abantu ababekhona lapha endaweni yobugebengu bahamba baye esibhedlela ngoba bonke amafoni abo aqhumana nale tower yasesibhedlela.
And that is in line with their statements that I was reading in the docket, my lord.
Lokho kuhambisana nezitatimende ezazikhona lapha edokethini.
However, the alleged rob phone takes a different direction, and when they were sitting at the hospital, the tower was the rob cell phone was picking up a different tower at Muleleki section.
Can you repeat it again?
So I'm saying, my all right. So, all right. So, after the shooting, my lord, or the incident had taken place, the people who were in the house moved to the hospital. That is why they were taking the deceased. That is corroborated by their statements,
Lokho-ke kuxhaswa izitatimende zabo.
and their cell phone location places them in the tower that covers the clinic.
Manje-ke ithawa-ke iyakhombisa ukuthi ama-cellphone abo ayekhona lapho.
However, my lord, the rob phone went to a different direction,
Kodwa-ke i-rob phone yona yahamba yaya kwenye indawo.
and I could not get an explanation as to who was in possession of this cell phone except the intruder, because one could confirm everyone who was in the house at the hospital.
Manje ngingakwazi ukuthi ubani kwayephethe la le phone ngoba bonke laba abanye abantu babe besesibhedlela.
In other words, my lord, if there were no intruders, one would not have expected the phone to go to a different direction. It would have remained at the scene or go with the people who were in the house to the same direction.
Manje uma uma kuwukuthi babengekho ababehlasele nayo le phone yayiyobe iye esibhedlela noma isebekhaya ngaphandle ke uma kuwukuthi kwakukhona ababehlasele.
Just a minute.
Yes. So that was the first piece of evidence, my lord, that I looked at that told me there was a problem. The second one,
Manje ibona kokuqala okwangenza ukuthi ngibone ukuthi kukhona inkinga ekhona.
If you say that indicated to you there was a problem, what do you mean?
when
Manje ke yini kenza ukuthi ubone ukuthi kwakunenkinga?
when I said it was a problem, I'm referring to the suggestion that there were no intruders, because it was clear someone was in possession of that phone to a different direction.
Manje uma ngibona ukuthi kukhona osuke nale phone ohamba kwenye indawo kuyangikhombisa ukuthi cha kusho ukuthi babe khona abantu abangenele ababehlasele.
Just a minute. Now, cell phone evidence has been placed before this court by Ms. Pinky Fillingham. And I just want to refer you to Exhibit J1.
Yes, my lord.
It's her affidavit.
Khona umfazi obulethwe la enkantolo Miss Pinky Fillingham. Umbiko wakhe ukhona lapha ku exhibit umbukiso JJ1.
And I just wish to draw your attention to page 1188 of her affidavit.
Yes.
Those are extracts of section 205 pertaining to a specific number.
Lapho kucaphunwe section 205 mayelana nenumber ethize.
Referring to the GPRS stream of that particular number.
Ukusho ukuthi ama message eGPRS ayephuma kuleyo number.
Can you just place that number on record?
Cela usitshele ukuthi yipi leyo number?
So the number, my lord, it's 072.
Number 072.
It's writing small, my lord. Can I use my phone, my lord, just quickly to
Wait,
Yes.
is it not legible there?
No, it's not, my lord. But I know it's 072. I can see. Then it's 93. I can see the last numbers is 249. If I can, maybe please. No, it's not legible, my lord. But I can see that the last number is the last three numbers is 249. 249, and it starts with 072. I think it's 93. I don't see what comes after 3, my lord. But then it's 249.
Mr. Badwe, you don't have a copy of that document.
We'll refer you to another exhibit of Lieutenant Colonel Stein. This exhibit O. It's exhibit O, page 33. Where reference is made to a number. Can you just place that number on record?
Okay.
On page 33 at the bottom.
33 at the bottom. Yeah, but at the bottom, 072, my lord. 9382495.
Yes, 072 938 2495.
No, I think it's 98, my lord. Sorry, it's 8.
2498.
Yes. 072 938 2498, my lord. That's the number.
Yes. And the name of the person against whom that number appears?
Kelly Kumalo.
so ke le phone ekakheli ikhumana.
You earlier mentioned that you were able to establish two of the numbers and that the one number started with 082, the other one with 072. Are you able to recognize that number?
So the bottom one, my lord, it is 072, is the second number that I was able to establish. The 082, I don't see it on page 33, my lord.
Yes.
On page 33 of Kenneth statement.
Yes.
Angikwazi ukuyibona estatementini sika Kenneth Stein le yesibili number.
Just at the top, just there where your hand is. Just at the bottom of the page.
At the bottom of the page.
So please, I see it's almost time for the normal shoulder adjournment. Can you adjourn?
Yeah, okay, fine. Let's adjourn for 15 minutes.